Hey there guys, how you going? So we've got a brand new deal in the shop, and that is for Kingdom Hearts 2 Namine. So just like the previous Namine medal, which was KH2 Namine, she is also a upright magic copycat medal that copies forward. The only real difference between this copycat medal and the previous Namine is that she's a tier 7, so that means that she can deal up to 200% additional multiplier, meaning that any medal that you copy can have like effectively the number that you see written in its multiplier times that by 3 if you decide to copy her with HD Nomine, which is pretty impressive, very, very impressive, and it's just like the HD Vanitas that we've seen before. So the question you got to ask yourself is, if you're a big user of Nomine right now, of HD Nomine, is it worth trying to chase her to replace it? I really don't think that it is, because like, let's say you've been working on a HD Nomine for a while, you may have guilted it fully to 150%, you may have invested a pretty good skill on it, be it, you know, attack boost 4 max, or a lux boosting skill, or like an attack boost 5 max even. I don't think it's then worth turning around and replacing it with this one just for a bit of extra damage, but that could be up to you. I mean, it could be, you could be in the Coliseum right now trying to get that, you know, top 100 spot, and you think, oh, if I could just squeeze out a little bit more damage from my HD Nomine, then maybe I could reach those spots, you know. Situationally, it could be a really good battle for you, but for the majority of players, I don't think they'll ever notice the difference. For story content, we don't need any more power, we're going to blow everything away. For challenge content right now, we're pretty much fine. I mean, like, the reverse medal challenge was pretty difficult, but this medal's not going to help you out at that. Potentially an upright medal challenge, this could be very useful for, but again, it's not that much of an improvement over the original HD Nomine. And just as a copycat medal, we've had plenty already. I mean, I suppose, okay, let's say you rerolled your account recently to take advantage of this deal right here. You wanted to pick up a HD Shion, an illustrated Shion EX. I suppose if you don't have any copycat medals right now, and you got this medal really, really early, and you're like, okay, I've got like 15 to 20,000 jewels on this account still, should I go ahead and chase Namine? Yeah, this could be a pretty decent time to do that, because within 5 pulls, you'll definitely have 1 copy of her. You can Mickey and Brooms her up the rest of the way. And right now, the draw odds are pretty good on getting additional premiums. Like, I think it's like currently a 1 in 10 chance of picking up additional yeah, right. So, okay, what this basically means right here is if we do a 10 medal pool, 1 medal is going to guarantee to be the guaranteed premium slot, which is what we see right here. We see the guaranteed premium slot and 9 other slots, right? Of those 9 other slots, each one of those has a 1 in 10 chance of being a premium, which is pretty decent. It means that if everyone in the game does 11 pulls, there should be at least 10 bonus premiums coming out of those 11 pulls. As in, like, mathematically, 1 person should miss out on the premium, and every other person should get at least 1. Sorry, should get 1. But I've seen people doing pulls already, and they're getting like 3 or 4 premiums per pull. Now again, mathematically, that has to be evened out by other people not getting any bonus premiums, but, you know, there's chances for good odds here, guys. So, for the rest of the odds, it seems pretty good. It seems like she is about 0.83% of coming off just a regular slot. And remember, you have 9 chances of that happening, so 9 chances by about 0.8% is pretty decent. And as for the guaranteed slot, it's a little bit lower. It's about like 0.82, I think, but we're talking like fractions of a decimal here, guys. It doesn't really matter. I'm pretty sure you'll mercy her before you see her popping up normally anyway. So anyway, let's talk about a little bit of a damage comparison, because even though I haven't pulled for her, I can still do a bit of a damage comparison. Oh, right, the last thing. This medal has the chance to come boosted like any other premium does. It's a 10% chance, like it seems like any other premium has, of being boosted during its featured banner. The cool thing about this one is it has up to an additional 2,000 strength and defense, and the boosted copy will have 4 trade slots instead of the regular 3. This makes me think that this banner is complete whale bait. Like, this is a good banner, don't get me wrong, and it's like, there would have been a time where this banner would have been seen as like the second coming of Christ, because it's like, remember the HD Nomine banner when it was very first released as a falling price with no mercy? The salt that people felt. If this came out a little while ago, this would have been just heralded as one of the amazing banners. Seen it, you've won back our trust, so on and so forth. And it is still a good banner, don't get me wrong. But just compared to some of the things we've seen recently, it's not as amazing as it was anymore. And I probably sound entitled saying that, but again, I save my jewels for things that I think are really, really, really special, like that falling price deal that guaranteed 2 really good premiums every single time. I think that was an amazing deal, an absolutely amazing, incredible deal, and that's why I blew thousands of jewels on that. And like, again, my bar is set very, very high, so even though this is very, very good, I'm probably going to skip it just because I have a H2 Namine already. It's definitely not worth me, spending 15 to 30,000 joules trying to replace that Namine with one with more traits. But it could be for you. It could be for you. Anyway, let's do a bit of a damage comparison. Give me one sec, guys. Okay, now this is not a true damage comparison, but it's about as close as I can get without spending heaps of resources in my game. So, what we have right here is H2 Namine sitting in a 1.6 slot. So we're using 3 wishes at level 25, meaning that even though this is a reverse slot right here, if we use an upright magic metal, it sits in a 1.60 slot here. And we're going to copy KHUx because it's a big damaging metal, and you guys should be able to see the full effect of this metal. Now, we don't have we don't have Kingdom Hearts 2 Nomine to copy to do an illustration, but we do have a tier 7 copycat metal that will also hit off a 1.6 multiplier, being HD Vanitas. So this is about as close as a comparison that I can give you guys. The only fault in it is the fact that they're both fully gilted out. This is at 150% and Vanitas is at 200%. The only fault is that this has a attack boost 4 max, meaning it deals 1.8 times the amount of damage, whereas this has an attack boost 5 max, meaning it does 2 times the amount of damage. So it's going to deal roughly 10% extra damage just off the skill alone, I think, or maybe 20%, unless, I don't know the math quite, I'm working out on that, because the damage formula is a bit weird. But just, I'm going to do a damage comparison. Bear in mind, this has already a bit of an advantage because of the skill, but yeah, let's have a look. Alrighty, so we're just going to go ahead into the Proud Quest level 500 here and just do one attack against the Gummy Hound and see how much damage it does. So, be right back. Okay, so this first mob of enemies here, we're going to do the attack against. So, ready, 1, 2, 3, and... Oh, he's retaliating. Shit, I didn't think about that. Okay, ready? Let's take a quick peek. So, with attack boost 4 max, we're just looking at those ones there. So, roughly 212,000 damage on the Swordsman there, and roughly 226 on the left. So let's go ahead and take a look at Vanitas. Okay, we're now going in with HD Vanitas, going to be copying KHUx as well. So remember from before, it was 226,000 damage against the Copter Fleet, and 212 against the Swordsman there. So let's go ahead and use that. And 288 versus 317. So 288 versus 317. Okay, so that's a pretty significant damage increase, given off a 200% guilt versus a 150% guilt, but that is to be expected, right? So we're dealing effectively an additional 33% of our damage coming from the guilt multiplier, because it's basically another 50% onto the guilt. But bear in mind that it has got a skill on it as well. That has got the 2.0 multiplier from attack boost 5 versus the 1.8 from attack boost 4. This is so boring, guys. What are you doing listening to this? All I'm trying to say is, okay, it is a massive improvement in power. But at what cost though? Is it worth 15,000 joules plus the 3 Mickey brooms, or another 3,000 joules another 15,000 joules to try and guilt the thing? In my opinion, not really, and I'll tell you why in a sec. Okay, being really powerful in the game right now means you need to take advantage of the buffs that are available. And right now we have the upright and reverse buff, so a lot of your Keyblades need to be built around taking advantage of that. It means that you're sort of only aiming for one attribute and not both, because you can't take advantage of both buffs at the same time. At least not in the way we currently have medals. So this setup right here, for example, we'd be copying uprights pretty much the entire way, right? And then we do the final hit right here, and this medal here copying it, which are reverse medals, which haven't taken advantage of the big upright buffs we've been given so far. Let's say we had illustrated Shion EX in that slot there. We'd be at +2 reverse, +4 reverse. Maybe we put Pete there instead to get up to +5. And then we could start using reverse medals here and here, which Namine would act as. You can definitely build setups to take advantage of your particular attribute, whether it's upright or reverse, but you just have to pay attention to that. So depending on which kind of setup you currently run, like if you have Kari or Shion, you're probably going to want to build towards either upright or reverse. So like for me, for example, I have Kari, I don't have Shion, so I'm definitely aiming towards upright. So for me, Divine Rose is not super useful anymore, so automatically I don't really need HD Namine for my setup, Kingdom Hearts 2 Namine for my setup, because the only way it's useful, right, is either it's going to sit here and copy the 4th slot right here, which it could be useful for, but again, the multiplier is not, well, I mean, you'd much rather have your most powerful medal here, right, in this slot, dealing out massive damage. And the only way it can do that is by copying a reverse medal, which, for me, again, I'm missing out on the reverse buff, so it doesn't really make sense to me. We could have, let's go over to, mean, no one really uses Moogle of Glory anymore, and it would only be in the second slot, really not doing much. Counterpoint I could see being really, really huge for this medal. If you plan on getting the brand new Aqua EX, if you plan on getting the brand new Riku EX, if you plan on having the HD Namine that just came out, you could have an extremely powerful counterpoint. You could have like Aqua up the front, giving everything a 30% guilt boost. You could have HD Vanitas here, copying Kara EX to set you up, and then you could have Riku there, or no, HD Namine here, sorry, Kingdom Hearts 2 Namine here, and then Riku right here, and you'd have yourself a very pretty setup. I'm just thinking of that off the top of my head, but it could work out very well. So when you're investing in medals, think about what you want to do with them in the future as well. Like I said, I'm looking at that and I'm going, okay, what's going to synergize really well with the brand new Nomine? Again, would synergize extremely well with 2 upcoming medals, so definitely consider that if you do want to pull for it. What about Fairy Stars? Oh, I mean, Counterpoint would be very good, but again, you'd have to have a reverse setup because you'd want to copy, let's say you have dual-wield Roxas that sits right there. You'd want to have like, let's say Shion EX sitting up the front there, being copied by, yeah, this actually works pretty well. If you had Illustrator Shion EX sitting up the front there, being copied by this medal right here, you had, I don't know, anything to boost your reverse strength right there. Again, maybe one of the new EXs to give you some additional guild, or HD Axel EX could sit right there very nicely. Then you could have HD Namine, because, sorry, I'm going to keep doing it. You could have Kingdom Hearts 2 Namine right here, instead of HD Namine, to get that extra little bit of damage off, because she would act as whatever this medal is, and in that moment she would act as a reverse medal, taking advantage of all those reverse buffs. I'm trying to get the Fairy Stars. Again, Femra, not important because it doesn't have a upright magic slot. Darknor, again, no upright magic. Missing Ache, no upright magic. Okay, Fairy Stars. It is useful on Fairy Stars, but again, you'd have to be using it for a reverse setup because you're copying a reverse slot. So again, you'd want to have Illustrated Shion EX somewhere up the front here, and you need to have like HD Antiform sitting here, copying a reverse medal in your pet slot, just because, yeah, let's say you had like dual-wield Roxas right here, and you had HD Antiform copying something else. Maybe you had a HD Antiform copying, I don't know, let's say Pete, let's say HD Pete, because he deals more damage the further back towards the end of the Keyblade you are. You need to be copying Illustrated Shion EX at the front here, and then yeah, you could have HD Namine right here, copying dual-wield Roxas EX, and that could be a pretty decent setup. But again, if you're a big Fairy Stars user, or if you're a big Stroke of Midnight user, you'd want to also be, if you want HD Namine, it'd be towards a reverse setup. If you're thinking of upgrading a counterpoint, again, you need some medals coming out in the future, but you want to build that around an upright setup. I hope this has made sense, because I'm sort of rambling here, but I hope you're understanding what I'm trying to get at. Think about what you need this medal for, not just because it's a really cool medal. If you want to replace a current copycat medal, because like I said, we have tons of them right now. We have HD Antiform, we have HD Vanitas, we have HD Namine, not to mention all these ones here that copy backwards. Think about what you really want to do with her, and if it's going to help you out in the future. Again, this medal right here is honestly quite good, and really doesn't need much replacing. The only reason you'd want to chase Kingdom Hearts 2 Nomine is if you really wanted to get a boosted one and get shitloads of traits, but if you're going to do that, you're probably towards the Walia end of the game, and then you're probably not watching my videos anyway. But, oh, one last thing to note, sorry to HLG Brawl King, sorry Bruce, you tried your hardest, man, you really did try your hardest, and we salute you for your efforts. It could still happen, you never know, it could still happen. They could do a copycat banner, and they could be, they could do exactly what you've been praying for this whole time, but for anyone who doesn't know what I'm talking about, I'm sure he'll leave a comment in my video, and if not, I'll link you to his Twitter. Anyway guys, all the best, let me know if you do pull for her, and yeah, good luck. Alright guys, I'll catch you later. Bye.